friends, this is Logan Jacob. Today I have something a little bit different for you. What you usually see on my channel is reviews of iPad apps and stuff like that, but I have recently picked up a new MacBook Pro with the M1 processor, and I wanted to show how some of the apps that I'm used to reviewing and using for iPad are now working for the MacBook Pro with the M1 processor. I know some of you are interested in that stuff, and I want to kind of demonstrate how one of my favorite apps is working. So today we're going to look at the Model 15 app, which you might be familiar with from your iPad apps, and see how it integrates with the MacBook Pro and with Ableton, particularly here. I'm sure it integrates with Logic as well. I just have not tested it, at least not in the same way that I'm using it with Ableton, but I want to show you how to incorporate it into your Ableton sessions if that's something you're interested in doing. So before we get started, be sure to like and subscribe and all that good stuff. If you have any requests for me to check out other apps, whether it's on the Mac OS system or for iOS, please put that in the comments and tell me what you think. If you have a MacBook with the M1 processor, just let me know what you think about it and how you're loving it and all that good stuff. So Moog's Model 15 is easily my favorite synthesizer for iPad OS. It was the very first one I picked up. If you're familiar with my channel, you know I use it all the time. I use it in almost every one of my patches and tracks for something. I love it. It is so versatile, and it's a beautifully designed app. I love the semi-modular way that it runs. It just works very well for my brain and for the sounds that I want to create. So I was super excited whenever I saw that Model 15 was working for the M1 Max now. So to be able to find it, you need to go to the App Store, and when you click on your purchased apps, make sure that you click the button that says iPad and iOS apps so that it'll show up there, and then you can download it, and it should just start working. When you open the application by itself, it looks just like the app on the iPad looks. Absolutely beautiful layout. I love the UI of Model 15. It's all the same familiar stuff that you're used to. And you can, of course, use it as a standalone app if you want. You can plug a MIDI keyboard into it and do all the normal stuff that you're used to. Or you can use a mouse here like I'm doing to click on the different notes. And as you can hear there, it just sounds absolutely great. It sounds just as good as it always has on the iPad. So I've got a little arpeggiated app here. I started with the preset, the pizzicato arp preset, and just made it more of a traditional Moog sound by adjusting some of the parameters. Just for this example, you can, of course, use whatever you want to here. So the way that I set this up to work in Ableton is by setting the audio outputs and the MIDI inputs to work correctly. So if you go up here to settings, you have your different options. First off, you want to make sure that Ableton Link is enabled so that Ableton's clock will talk to the Model 15. They'll keep the BPMs in sync and all of that stuff so that everything is locked in sync. You can turn on eco mode if you need to. I have it turned off for this one. And then go down here to your settings, which are your ins and outputs in this case. So what I've done here to be able to get the audio into Ableton, which you can see my Ableton track here, and I'll come back to that in a minute, is I am using the VB Audio virtual cables. It's a completely free download. It takes all of 2 minutes to get it installed on your Mac, and it just basically sets up another audio device that'll grab audio from any software and plug it into any other software. There are some paid versions that are a little bit more expensive, but I just tend to use the freebie one for now, and it works great. So, as you can see here, I've selected the VB cable as my output. And then when I go over here to Ableton, I'm going to set an audio track to receive that audio in. So the way I've done that is to go to the settings, the preferences, and go to audio, and you can see as my input device, I have VB cable set. Now you can set your output device to whatever works for you. I've actually got it set as the VB cable because I've got that running back into OBS to record this video. So then whenever the Model 15 is played, the audio is going to come back into this channel. So next, if the great thing about Ableton is being able to control MIDI loops. So what I've done here is I've set up a MIDI loop that I want to go to the Model 15. So again, I had to go into settings and down to MIDI. And whenever it sees the Model 15, it now knows to send the tracks, to send the sync, and send the remote into it. And then over in Model 15, if I go to the MIDI settings, I just need to make sure that it's receiving some stuff. So you can set it to just receive channel 1 if you've got multiple things. Right now I've got it set to Omni because that's the only thing I have going to Model 15 right now, so it shouldn't matter. So over here, I just made a quick little clip that you can see here. It's just some chords, just some minor 7 chords in C minor with one major 9 chord, the A flat major 9. But just a little chord progression that I have being sent to Model 15 on MIDI channel 1, and then that audio is going to come back into Ableton and play right here. So if I start that clip, right, and it sounds absolutely great, I think. So then I can just add everything else that I want to it to create whatever track. And I've took the same chords and plugged them into a simple pad, and then used a drum groove from the Drum Essentials pack just to make a nice little section right here, so you can hear how this all sounds together. So I think that sounds really nice. And of course we could, change if we want it to go to just a normal key sounding thing like the soft poly, which is one of my favorites. Then we can do that. And if I'm going to turn off the pads if we're going to use the keys here. So you can hear it sounds great. In case you were worried that there might have been a little bit of delay with that arpeggiator, that's why I wanted to play the just chords there to show you that everything is good. It sounds wonderful. I did have one note coming in a little bit late, but that's just because I put it in wrong whenever I did the input. But other than that, it's just dead on. And one other thing I want to show you is that's pretty handy. If I go back to my arpeggiator, whenever you change, because I'm using Ableton Link, whenever we change our tempo, the arpeggiator is going to follow that. So you can do your funny little, tempo fluctuations or whatever you need to there, and it's going to all line up properly. So just a great sounding app. It works beautifully with Ableton, and I'm really impressed that they got this working for the Mac One, the M1 processor on Mac OS. And I am looking forward to many more of the iOS apps coming in. The only complaint I have is that I cannot get it to load as an audio unit within Ableton or Logic. That's the only thing that's kind of driving me crazy so far. If I go to my plugins and go to audio units, it shows up, it's there, but it's not working for some reason. And I don't know what the deal is there. So hopefully they'll get that resolved pretty soon. I don't know why it would work as an external app and not within Ableton, but hopefully that gets taken care of soon so that we can use it in multiple instances and all of that stuff like we normally would in AUM. All right, that's what I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed this quick little demo, and let me know if there's anything else you want me to check out and see how things are running, or if you have any questions about this stuff, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks very much.